So you feel like that's kind of the balance you have where you're trying to encourage a guy, get him going, get him inspired, but still feel like he has to work every day.
He cares so much. So I like that part of it, right? He is easy to motivate, but he's also 21. So we have it down. I just walk up to him every day, say one word: consistency. He already knows. And he's triggered and wired that way, and he's been, like I said, the last week and a half has been very high level. Yesterday, Rod T had him. He had something going on. We moved Nick to free, and we didn't miss a beat. So it's awesome.
For sure. I know one thing that he's talked about and others talked about that he had to get over is just the vocal responsibility here. That seems like something to be tough for a 20-year-old. But how do you think he's maybe adjusting to that a little bit?
It's always a work in progress. That's something I'm hard on him about, really. As a safety, I was a communicator in the back end, and really the better communicator your safety is, it eliminates a lot of mistakes. Because second of the Mike linebacker, that whoever that safety is, he's doing the most communication, whether it's to the corners or to the D-line, whether we're doing something with stunts or blitzes, talking to backers about how we're going to match certain coverages up. That guy has to be a great communicator. He really has to be an alpha male, really. Like I said, outside of the mic, he's got to be the probably the next most heard voice on the defense. And I think Nick is understanding that and accepting that role and getting a lot better at it.
Yeah. And the last one on him is just one thing he talked about that was a little difficult last year is that maybe we don't think about as much. It's just a kid in a new environment that never left home, and just the distance of that. Is there anything you could relate to back to when you were
100%. I'm a country Kentucky boy, and then I had to go to Oakland, California at the age of 21. So I can definitely relate to a new environment, and, a little bit of a culture shock for sure. Nick's definitely grew up, and hats off to his parents. He's definitely grown up very well and nice. But Nick he was raised right. He's still got a good work ethic and thing about him. It's just nice to be dealing with a good kid like that. So I'm excited about it.
For sure. All right. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hey, Mike. So Julian's obviously been out pretty much all of camp, but you can tell how bad he's itching to get out there. When you're watching him on the sideline, he's communicating. You were just talking about that. Have you seen that from him? He obviously can't be out there yet, but how is he in terms of, being a coach on the field?
I think that's probably the biggest difference I see from Julian from this year to last year is just his familiarity with the scheme, and then also just becoming that guy for us, that steady player for us in the back end. I think he's accepted his role. He's now going into his fourth year. You're looking to those guys in their fourth years and up to be the leaders of the team, and he's definitely embracing that role. So Julian's doing a good job for us from that standpoint.
And not too long ago, you were here as a player, and just a short time, you had a huge impact. Guys really talked about, the impact you had on them preparing as pros and everything. Are you sensing that in such a young DB room, whether it's the corners or the safeties? Are guys gravitating you because you're so close to what they've been, I guess?
Yeah, I don't know. Obviously, Coach Miles is the boss, and a lot of times, I just follow his lead. But there is some times where he'll let me speak, and the guys kind of do chat with me on the side, I guess from a different standpoint, just because I am a little bit closer to him in age. But there's still very much a respect that we have, and there's a player-coach divide. But it is cool. Sometimes I'll joke with Kenny about maybe something that happened back in 2018. So we'll have moments like that. But I think it's been good to work with the guys. There is some familiarity, but I think because I was so much older than them, even when I was here playing, and then they saw just the work that I did and the way that I go about my day-to-day business, I definitely think there's a good level of respect and everything that they have for me, being a young coach.
Yeah, and it's kind of unique here. It's you, Cato, Reggie, some young former players. Is that energetic for you? You're not the only young, recent former player here.
Yeah, for me, it's cool. Just, those guys are guys that I knew about in the league growing up playing. Obviously, never got to be teammates with Reggie or Cato, but it feels like we were kind of how we all hit it off as a young staff. The biggest blessing for me is just really to be in a room with Coach Milo, Coach Smith, and then having Gus as the DC. It's 75 years of coaching experience in one room, and for me to be a young guy, that's the biggest blessing that I feel like I have. Obviously, it's a great opportunity. I'm very thankful for the Irsay family bringing me back and giving me this opportunity to coach. But I feel like, golly, it's been just a great learning experience for me to learn from extremely long tenured coaches that have been doing it at a really high level and doing it for a long time. that's a blessing for me. I think it's great to have Cato in the room because I think sometimes Gus will ask us questions like how we see things because again, I just was playing 4 years ago and we kind of come at it a little bit still from a player's mindset, but it adds a great balance to the room, I think.